I made it. Sorry for being late, y'all. Poor time management, per usual. Nothing's really changed so far in 2026 with that. Um, and I'm gonna chew through a protein bar while we talk about this because I just got done lifting and I don't have any food cooked. So yeah. Per usual, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. Also, my birthday's tomorrow. So if you wanna drop some money in the Cash App for my birthday tomorrow, that would be wonderful too. You could also send a super chat if you have a question or a comment or a statement that you would like to make. That will get top priority. Because sometimes I don't answer everybody in the chat or really pay attention to the chat at all. Also, I linked the Patreon. Okay, hold on. I have the Patreon in the comments, but give me 2 seconds because I forgot to pin it. Um, the Patreon, we're doing a perception, like a 6 week perception series where essentially I teach women about perception and how you can strategize people's perception of you without taking it personally and seeing it as an attack on who you are. You can actually use that information to achieve a lot of things because people's perception of you, it does matter, but not in the way that people thinks that it matters. So if that is something that you're interested in, or if you're just interested in dark femininity content, manipulation, tapping more into your shadow self, I really do highly recommend the Patreon. I try to post on there once a week. So it'll be a 6 week series of the perception series, and then I'll go on to something else if there's anything that you all want me to talk about that I would have to like break down further. That would be nice if you guys had any recommendations. Um, I think that's it. Also for skincare, don't forget Glow Melanin. I'm partnered with them. They're really good for the melanated ladies, especially if you struggle with hyperpigmentation like me. The turmeric that they have in there is really, really, really awesome. And it's a great skin brightener. Also, if you suffer from having dark underarms, that product, the scrub is really, really good. I have that in my link tree as well. And there is a code also, to all of my women that are keeping their legs closed in 2026, you're trying to keep your pH together, okay? You're not trying to get pregnant out here. You're not trying to bring any more children to the world. You're not trying to transmit no STIs or no STDs. Go on ahead and check out my friends over at Womanizer. They're also in my link tree, and I have a code with them as well. That way, you can get you some self pleasure toys to go on ahead and get you through not sleeping with these men because yeah, I haven't been sleeping with them myself, and the toys are awesome. You'll forget men even exist once you start using their products. They're really, really good. Also, I already posted it and plenty of you all have been subscribing to my Substack. I've always been a writer, and people are always like, when are you going to write a book? When are you going to write a book? Well, I'm going to write a book once I get my writing skills together and I practice writing more regularly. So the Substack is like one thing that I made a promise to myself this year in 2026 that I would start taking seriously. So I'm going to be writing an entry into Substack once a week. And I also have that in the link tree. So if you have an interest in writing and you want to have like a writing version of the topics that I talk about here on YouTube or here over on TikTok, you can go on ahead and you can follow me over on Substack. Same name, Queen Sovereign. Okay, so we got all the housekeeping done. Welcome to all of my new subscribers. Welcome. If you're new here, live streams are my bread and butter. Live streaming is actually what got me really popular on here because my personality is T and I'm really funny and I'm really clever and witty. And it's just very easy, especially I'm a hermit and I don't like people. And so this is a really easy way for me to just like bond, talk to you all, chit chat with you all, have girl time with you all. Because out in the real world, it's really hard to find people that you know for sure have decentered men. And so it can be very, very lonely out in the real world. So I like to do the live streams because it gives us more of a personable way to interact outside of like the kind of like lack that we have in community out in the real world because it's very hard to find like-minded people. So live streams are my top priority. And then when I'm not posting live streams, I try my best to repurpose my content from TikTok over to here. And then I really got to get good about taking clips from the live streams and then uploading them, because I literally have an AI generator that can do it all for me. It's just, I don't know. I think I have imposter syndrome about uploading all that stuff, and I really don't want to spam y'all, but I need to just do it anyway. That way it'll link you guys back to the live streams. And these are really good if you're working out, walking on the treadmill, cleaning up the house, bored at work, avoiding people at work. Like, the live streams are really, really good. And I'm a big proponent of long form content, because I don't want you all to have a fried attention span, because those short second clips, that's why I don't really like uploading shorts, because I don't want y'all to be stupid. I push intellect very, very heavy on my channel, and I do not want you all to like be dumb, okay? Because when you're dumb, you're easily impressionable, you're easy to control, and it's going to be a lot easier to get over on you in life. So I push hard for the intellect of the women and men on this channel. And then also, that's also why I wrote a Substack, or created a Substack, because we need to be reading, okay? We do. We need to be we need to be reading, okay? So that is everything. Okay, so I forgot what video I had posted it on, but somebody in the comments had said that they had seen a video where there were two men talking. It's the Diary of a CEO podcast. I'm not going to be able to play it here on the channel, because they will 1000% copyright it. And even if I edit it and flip it and color grade it and pitch it and do all of that stuff like that, I don't want any parts. Like, I don't want any parts of them clipping it out or copywriting it or anything like that. So essentially, it's Steve Bartlett from Diary of a CEO, and then his guest, which is a YouTuber. His username is Healthy Gamer GG, and I actually used to follow him, because on his main channel, he's a psychiatrist, and he really does advocate a lot for like helping men. Like, I feel as though men that are a part of like the manosphere, men that are a part of the red pill community. I used to believe that Healthy Gamer GG used to be a really good segue to kind of help men get out of that pipeline before the RP and manosphere really, really sucks them in. And so I was actually really, really shocked to see the comments that he had made on the podcast episode. And mind you, I did not watch the episode in its entirety. I didn't watch the episode at all. It is just clips that I had seen from TikTok. And he's been on Diary of a CEO podcast numerous times. So I don't even know how recent or how far down the line this podcast episode took place. But essentially, they're having a conversation talking about the declining birth rate. And Stephen is pretty much saying, like, you know, the declining birth rate could very well be a signal of evolution, because people are not going to be procreating in an environment that is not conducive to the survival of the people that inhabit it. Like, it's 1000% evolution. And so he then asks Healthy Gamer GG, like, how would we intervene with that? And so essentially, Healthy Gamer GG is trying to compare the declining birth rate to cancer and genocide. And so he's like, well, do you believe that we would intervene with cancer? And Steven says, yeah. Do you believe that we would intervene with genocide? And he says, yeah. And so pretty much he is like seconding the fact that, like, Steven is saying, like, it's such a heavy crisis that there should be some type of intervening. And obviously, I mean, people that have a fucking brain would understand that really the only way that you would intervene is if you were to be R-wording women. That would really be the only way that that would even be possible. And so the fact that these men like felt so comfortable that they could have this conversation back and forth on this podcast, talking about how that needs to be intervened, is crazy to me. And it really did bring up a lot of like red flags for people that were watching that content, women that were watching that content and covering that content, because it's like, whoa, like, intervening on the birth rate, you know what I mean? And so it's one of those things where I've said it plenty of times before, but patriarchy is an artificial creation. Okay. It's not real. It's not designed in line and in alignment with nature itself. Okay. Patriarchy is an artificial creation. And at some point, nature is going to catch up with the artificial creation. And so this is where we're now at, where we have the intersection of patriarchy in nature. And so this is the reason why men are crashing out, because men naturally have been so used to artificially intervening in everything, right? They are always used to being like, oh, well, I will just use violence against people to get what it is that I want. I will use manipulation to be able to get what it is that I want. I will use divide and conquer to be able to get what it is that I want. I will colonize groups of people. I will colonize people, and then create systems of oppression within marginalized groups, and then figure out ways to conquer and take money and control over those people, right? So those are all artificial creations that men have made in order to dominate over society itself. Okay, men just didn't wake up and just naturally inhibit that. It Whatever men are creating, it's always at the expense of somebody else. So when men sit here and say like, oh, I built the world and we built this and we built that, okay, well, you built these things, but what you're leaving out is the fact that people had to die at the hands of what you built. People are currently dying at the hands of the things that you continue to build. There are people that are getting harmed simultaneously while you are creating these systems. Having people be harmed is a byproduct of your system. And so now nature is at a point where it's like, okay, you cannot outsmart nature. And now that women can vote, and now that women have rights, they can get a house, they can work, they can make a good living for themselves. We're now at the point where women are not forced into buying into this artificial system for our own survival. Women can now ride the wave with nature by saying, if my survival is taken care of and I'm okay with my living situation, I get to make the choice on a natural level to say, I don't want to be with somebody that doesn't have the same amount of things as me, or I don't want to be with somebody who doesn't have the emotional intelligence, or does not have the tenacity or the discipline, or just all of the things that women have been required to have. Women are no longer accepting that as an option. And so, because of this, men are now at having to think, okay, well, what artificial system can we now create to overcome this barrier, since women are now going with the ebbs and flows of nature, because our survival is not dependent on men anymore. So this is where the whole quote unquote intervening situation comes from. And this is the reason why I really do caution women. Like me personally, I don't feel as though it's safe to be dealing with men. I personally don't feel like it's safe to be dating them, having them under the same roof as you. It really isn't. Because another thing too is that this intervention, this intervening that they're talking about, is always going to take place. Like, they're not going to be ripping women off of the streets and R-wording them. Like, that's not how it's going to go. It's going to go the way that it's currently going now, when women are partnered up with men and they're getting married to men, and then they're having marital rape taking place. And it's because the closer in proximity that they are to a man, then the easier it is going to be for this to be able to happen repeatedly over and over and over and over. These situations tend to happen the most when you have a man in very close proximity to you. So they always try to paint this picture of grape culture. They always try to paint this picture that like you're walking alone at night, and the weird creepy guy dressed in all black is just going to like snatch you off the side of the street, and then they're going to grape you. Obviously that happens, yes, but in most cases, statistically, that's not how it happens most of the time. Most of the time it is happening in your own home with the person that you are partnered with, and they are going to make it so that you will have to be stuck under the same roof as the person that you are partnered with, because they're, of course, going to come after your finances. They're going to come after your job. If you have children, they're going to come after your current children. I don't know if you all are aware. I can't remember where it took place at, but there was this man. I guess he's right leaning. I can't even remember his name, but I believe there was a daycare. And from what I read, it was like a Somalian daycare. So it had like mostly Somalian kids in there. If I am wrong, please correct me. Please correct me, because I didn't go deep into it. I just seen a couple videos about it on TikTok. But kids are out for winter break. I mean, they should have probably be everyone probably returned back to school today, all the children. So this happened last week. But essentially, he goes to this daycare and he's essentially like, okay, why are the doors locked in the daycare? Why can't I open the doors for the daycare? And the daycare is like, well, because we don't have our doors unlocked for a daycare, just like how they don't do it for the school. Like, it's a law. That way people just don't come in and spray the place up and like act amok, you know what I mean? Because obviously the reputation and the history of things that have been happening in America when it comes to children inhabiting spaces and what's happening to them. And so essentially the man was like all mad and talking about how he was like going to report like the daycare or whatever. Well, I like just got news that a reason why they're doing this is because they're going to cut funding for like daycares now. So now it's already very, very expensive for you to be able to pay for childcare. I mean, there are people out here, their childcare is more than their mortgage. Their childcare is more than their rent, if not the same amount. So they're really, really trying to find little small ways in order to make it harder for women, especially women that are married and women that have small children, um to be able to like break out of this system that is further like going to oppress them, because that's like the next step. They want to like cut all of the federal funding for daycare. So who knows, daycare could be like $7,000 $8,000 a month if they really, really want to nip it. So obviously, guess who that's going to impact? It's going to impact the woman, because it's going to force the woman to have to go back into the home and just take care of the child on her own, and she'll have to quit her job, because no one is going to be making enough money and bringing home enough money for that to be something that they can do. So they're trying to find ways to force women to be able to outsourcing anything, so that way they're not making any money to leave their situation. Which is why I feel as though it's very, very important, very, very, very important that if you're not married right now, you should be happy. Okay, you should be very, very happy. Or if like you've been married and like you're way past childbearing ages and stuff like that, I mean, that's better than being married young and having young children. I feel as though, ooh, if you're married, you're young married, and you have young children, ooh, yeah, I would try to figure something out, to be quite honest. Because the more papers that you've signed, the more legal papers that you've signed, the harder it's going to be for you to get out of these circumstances that they're clearly trying to implement to make things harder for women. And if you're new to this channel, like I'm pretty much, I guess I could just say it, but like I'm pretty much antinatalist. I'm child free. I am single and I am child free. I'm not childless. I'm child free. I refuse to have any children. I do not want children. Nothing against mothers, nothing against women that have children. However, the society that we live in is not conducive to children, and they're not trying to do anything to make the society conducive to children. And so really my line of reasoning has always been, I can't take pride in me being a mother when I have to fight against a system that purposely oppresses mothers. It doesn't do anything for my ego or my pride to even partake into those things. So that's the reason why I just don't want to have a child. And I really do think that women that are considering having a child, you really need to take it seriously. The fact that when you have a child, you're having more responsibility, like that's just That's just the harsh reality of it. I think a lot of women, they think about the love first and then they completely forget about the responsibility. You should be thinking about the responsibility first and then you should be thinking about the love soon thereafter. Okay. Because the responsibilities that you have to have in place to be able to have a child takes money. Okay. And money is the most important thing. I'm sorry. Like your money and your health are the two most important things. And under the patriarchy, they don't want you to have either one of them. Okay. They've made it very clearly with rolling back Roe versus Wade. They don't care about your health because if there's a situation and you're pregnant and it's you versus the baby, they're going to choose the baby every time. And they've made that very clear. They'll put your life on the line and have you lose your life just to be able to have a child born into society. And they definitely don't care about you making money or having enough money to be able to fix your situation or to get out of your situation. And then another thing too is that under the patriarchy, you're not supposed to have a community outside of your husband. So that's why they push like the nuclear home so much. They push the nuclear home because they want you tired and exhausted because you're not supposed to be raising a child alone, let alone with one other person. I mean, you could have the most present partner in the world. Two people raising a child isn't enough. It's not. Sorry, y'all. I gotta chew through my protein bar. I'm hungry. These are so good. The Bear Bells, they're so good. You can get them at Trader Joe's. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Someone said men want children but don't want to provide. 1000%. Thank you, Fave Memory. Appreciate you. Thank you for the super chat. I like the caramel cashew. I like the caramel cashew. That's my favorite. Mm-hmm. All of the female-led professions, they want to consider them to be non-professional. So the government is not going to allocate as much money to fund women to be able to get those college degrees. This is the reason why I tell a lot of women, like, if you can stay home and get your education, please do. Hopefully you're not in a toxic household, but you can stay home and get your education, please do, or a community college. That way you don't have to take out a ton of loans. Mm-hmm. Mm. I saw an advertisement yesterday. I saw an advertisement yesterday, and I can't tell you the last time I seen one of these advertisements. I was watching a Korean drama. If you're new here and you don't know much about me, I'm obsessed with the K dramas. And I was watching Mask Girl. Please watch Mask Girl. Maskgirl on Netflix. It is so fucking good. I binge watched it in one night last night. And I'm not paying $14 a month for me to not have ads. The ads are real quick, especially if the show is old and not all that popular. They don't show as many ads. But anyway, an advertisement came up for something very interesting. Someone wrote on here, maybe they were preparing Gen Alpha to be warlike for a reason. I had an Army advertisement come up. When was the last time you seen an Army advertisement? I haven't seen Army advertisements in a long time. Mhm. Yeah, I have not seen an Army ad in so long. So I was like, "Oh," I said, "This is interesting. This is very interesting." I only like K-dramas when the cast is all women. A man yelled out to me, "Is that for sale?" Walking my dog. I was fully clothed and minding my business. Oh my God, how annoying. Yep, they want women sick, uneducated, abused, house full of kids. I see it in my own family using religion to bind them. Yeah. In this current climate, um honestly, the best thing that you could do as a woman is to be single, childless, in shape. And when I mean in shape, like please have some muscle. Don't do it. Don't fall into the trap of what they're trying to do now. Have everybody be, you know, all looking all cracked out, the heroin chic. Yeah, they want you to be super weak and super frail and thin so they can freaking go, and then you fall over. And then they could do whatever they want to be able to do because you're too weak and fragile to fight back. And then obviously healthy. Those are some of the best things that you could do currently as a woman because the men are so, this is what gets me. The men, we're in a climate now where statistically it's been proven that men want children more than women want children. And the reason why men want children is because they're not the ones having the children. You know what I mean? Like the people are always saying like men want children the way that kids want puppies. The kid is not going to be the one taking the puppy out on a walk. The kid is not going to be the one constantly picking up when the dog poops and letting the dog out to go poop and crate training the dog and just training the dog in general. It's not going to be the kid that does that. It's going to be the parents that are going to do that. So when it, or really just the mom. And so when women have children, the women are the ones waking up in the middle of the night, breastfeeding, doing all the diaper changes once they get old enough, doing all the clothing shopping once they go to school, doing the pickups, the drop-offs, the extracurricular activities, the parent teacher conferences, cooking the meals at night. All the men have to do is just sit back and kick their feet up, and when they get home after the mom's done everything, they get to play with their kids for a good 15-20 minutes, and then he's like, all right, I've done my fatherly duties for the day. I'm good. I'm good to go. I got to be a dad for 10 minutes today. And he gets a standing ovation for that. So of course, men have no problem asking and saying, "Oh, well, I want children, and do you want children?" These men are not going to be active like the mother is going to be active. And so women are like, "No, if I really truly want children, I might as well just choose to be a single mother." This is the reason why I tell women, I don't care. I don't care how long you've been with a person. I do not care if you're married to a person unless you yearn, unless you look forward to, unless you really, really want to be a single mother and raise a child alone, you should not be having children with men. Okay? The only time that you should be having a child with a man is if you 1000% are like, I want to do this alone. I want to take care of everything on my own alone. That is the only time that you should be having a child. Okay. A marriage is not going to make a man turn into an active parent. Okay. No, it's not going to happen. Men really don't look, men won't, because I always like to remind women of this too. You cannot project your pregnancy onto the man that you're with. The baby's growing inside of the baby's growing inside of your body. Nothing ever changed with the man. He busted a nut like he's busted all the other nuts in the past. He didn't do this like special nut bust to get you pregnant that changed his life. It's been the same as all the rest of them. It's impacted you. Your body is the one that's going to be changing. You're going to be the one having hormonal fluctuations. You're going to be the one gaining weight. You're going to be the one having side effects and postpartum depression and stretch marks and having to go on maternity leave and having to hope that you can come back to a job. You're going to have to be the one that's going to have to leave your job if your child gets sick. You're going to be the one that's going to have to be 1000% responsible. And so while you're pregnant, you're having an active bond with this baby because your body is literally being used as a portal that another living human being is sucking the life out of, so that way it can sustain itself and live. It's draining you of your life so that way it can keep living. So a lot of women like to project that onto men, but they're not having the same experience as you because they're not the ones pregnant. So their life is not going to change, and they're not going to assume responsibility just because you're having a different experience than them. This is why I made a video about it on TikTok, but I hate the we're pregnant. We're not pregnant. If the woman is the one that's pregnant, we're not anything. You're not the one that's carrying the child. You're not the one that has to go get the ultrasounds and then get your blood work drawn and to have your cervix be measured and get an epidural. You're not the one doing that. It's the woman that's doing that. We're not anything. I really cannot stand it when men and women both say we're pregnant. No, we're not. You're the one suffering. He's not suffering. Like, as women, we project our experiences way too much onto men when they're not having the same experience. And then we're completely shocked as to why they're not responding in the way that we're responding, because they're not going through the same thing as you. It's very, very obvious. This is the reason why men can walk away. I mean, I say that men treat their children like how you would treat your cousin. I mean, of course, there are people that are really there are people that are cool with their cousins, but it's like you kind of would like see your cousin in passing or like during a holiday or like something like that. You know what I mean? Like you kind of like check in with your cousin. Like it's not like the closest form of like a relationship like with your mother. It's a little bit more difficult to be able to like not stay in touch with your mother as opposed to a cousin. And that's the reason why men have such a strong disconnect, because the baby didn't grow in their body. They just don't have that bond at all. They don't have any biological bond to the child like the woman does. And so this is why it makes it very easy for men to walk away, because they didn't have to make any sacrifice. They didn't have to make any type of sacrifice to be able to make sure that that child was born. So I think it's very, very important that women like quit trying to normalize the suffering that pregnancy involves, by just like dismissing it as something very, very small. Like I can't believe that women do not consider pregnancy and childbirth to be a traumatic event. There was even like a discussion that I had with a man, and of course he was like this right winger that I had worked with, and he was obviously trying to challenge my ideology on why I didn't want children. And so I had pretty much told him like pregnancy is a traumatizing event and I don't want to go through that trauma. And he's like, it's not that traumatic. Like women make it out on the other side all the time during childbirth. And like I already knew right then and there, I'm like, I'm not going to explain anything more to this man because you'll never be able to go through pregnancy. So I kind of feel as though it's when somebody gives an opinion about like going to a place, or they have an opinion about a state or a country, and they'll be like, I don't like New York. And it's like, but you've never been in New York. So how would you be able to give the opinion that you like it or not? Because you've never been able to experience it. I'm not going to listen to what a man's opinion is in regards to pregnancy and childbirth and having children, because he's never had children before and he's never going to be able to have children before. So I don't care about what it is that they have to say, because of course they're going to reduce down the impact that pregnancy has on women in order for them to influence you to still have one, even if you don't want one. And so like that's another thing with the quote unquote intervening. Men are always trying to intervene with the declining birth rate, even when they're married to women. I mean, this is nothing new. You hear it all the time. A woman will get married, her and her husband will agree, we're going to have 2 children. 2 children somehow will turn into 3 children because he wants to he has manipulated her to try to intervene and say, well, I changed my mind, I want more children, and you're my wife and you are at my will and you're supposed to do whatever it is that I tell you because you're my wife and you should want to give me another child. So the agreement was 2 children, and then now you're 4 children down the line, or you have marital rape, or you have coercion. I mean, what I explained was pretty much an example of coercion, but you have all of these ways that in everyday life, men are always trying to intervene with the amount of children being born or not. You should always ditch the man before you ever have another child. Okay. It's going to either be him or your life being like way more miserable, because the reason why they want you to have all of these children is they want to make it harder for you to leave. That's the only reason why. They know that financially it's going to be a lot harder for you to leave a situation when you have multiple children to feed and you can only do it off of one income. No man would ever want you to have a ton of children just out of love or because they care about you. They see what the hell is going on. They see the responsibility that you're having to assume. Talk about men purposely getting women pregnant to sabotage their career goals. It's so real. Yeah, men always are projecting, right? So they love to try to make it seem women are gold diggers and women baby trap men all the time. Okay, no one is baby trapping a man for $150 worth of child support a month. Then they will have the nerve to sit here and be like, well, we should have the ability to track what the woman is spending her child support money on. Okay, I spent $90 grocery shopping just now. I spent $90 fucking grocery shopping. No one can gold dig you when you don't have any gold. No one can baby trap you when you don't have anything to contribute to baby trapping. The whole baby trapping thing is a lie. How can someone baby trap a man when the man is not the main caregiver? Because men always want to make it seem as if it's all about money. No, men are the ones that are baby trapping women. They're baby trapping women because they will see the fact, they'll get with a woman that's 1000% career oriented. She goes to work early, leaves work late. She's constantly working on a project at home. She's constantly pouring her heart into her passions and her hobbies. She's doing volunteer work. She's very, very busy outside the home. She has her hand in multiple pots. They will see a woman like that and they will feel inadequate and they will be like, you want to know what? I feel as though I don't have a measure or marker for how much she really loves me or how much she really cares about me, because I see all of these other things that she cares about and I don't feel special enough. So they will baby trap the woman and then end up getting the woman pregnant, either through raping or through coercion or messing up her birth control, hiding her birth control, et cetera, swapping out her birth control, whatever. And they will take these women because they're jealous of the fact that the woman is successful. She has all these things going for her. And then they will sit here and get her pregnant because they don't like the fact that she has a life outside of being a wife. And so for a lot of these men, they're the ones baby trapping because they know that the women are going to have, their whole life is now going to have to be filled up with taking care of a child. And so these men will like, it's not a compliment that a man got you pregnant. Okay. It's not a compliment. It's a diss. It's a large sign of disrespect when a man got you pregnant and you were on a high trajectory in your life, or you're currently on a high trajectory in your life. That is a large threat to your well-being when a man gets you pregnant, knowing that you're doing well. Because the harsh reality is that once you get pregnant, men know that it's all going to go downhill from there for you. for you. It's all going to go downhill from there. Of course, these men are never going to tell you that because they've groomed women to think that if a man gets you pregnant, they're doing it out of love. No, no man that sees you being career oriented and going after your dreams, goals, and aspirations is ever going to want to get you pregnant out of love, because they love to do this. I've been watching so much Bourbon Bougie, and these, like, oh my God, these men are horrible. Those Reddit stories that she covers with these men are horrible. There was one video that I was listening to or whatever, and the thing about it is that these men will plant very small seeds. Okay, they'll plant very, very small seeds. So there was one that I was watching, and essentially there was this married couple. She worked in graphic design, and then her husband ended up getting a very large promotion, like 3 times the amount of money that he was making. And so he pretty much said, like, oh, you don't need to work anymore because I'm really making a lot of money and there's no need for you to work. And she's like, but we never agreed that I would stop working just because you made more money. I like what I do for work. I've worked very hard to get where I am, and I like my career, and I enjoy going to work. And so he's still trying to push this idea that, like, no, like, I'm the breadwinner, and so therefore you don't need to go to work anymore. And that's when the ball starts rolling, right? The ball starts rolling there because it's okay. I'm going to convince you to quit your job for you to stay home. And of course, he's over here trying to convince her, like, well, you wouldn't have to worry about going to work anymore. You wouldn't have to worry about listening to your boss anymore. You wouldn't have to worry about this. You wouldn't have to worry about that. And she's like, no, like, I like everything with my job. Like, I don't want to stop. They try to convince you to give up your job and then stay at home. Then they try to convince you, well, I'm ready for kids. I'm ready for us to expand our family. And so then they try to plant that seed, and then they get the ball rolling on that. And then before you know it, you're 2-3 kids in the hole now, and you haven't worked a job in 15 years because you stayed home raising your children. That's what a lot of these men do. And a lot of them try to package it as a way to make it seem as if they're doing you a favor. No man is ever doing you a favor when it comes to you neglecting your financial security or you neglecting the things that you really enjoy doing. They're never looking out for you. They're looking out for themselves. Men are very honest about the fact that they don't want a career-driven woman. They say it all the time. We don't care about your degrees. Well, of course they quote unquote don't care about our degrees because they don't want a reminder that there are women that have enough financial security that no one has to put up with their bullshit, right? No one has to put up with the disrespect, the infidelity, all of the other things, the abuse that would come along with being in proximity to being with a man. Because at the end of the day, men want to feel needed. They don't want to be wanted. They can only see their importance in their usefulness through being needed. And so one of the number one core ways that men will create an artificial situation to be needed is to have you broke, is to not have you have anything. And at that point, they will then be needed because they're going to be the hand that feeds you. And that's what gives them a sense of power and control and things like that. These men are highly threatened by women that are ambitious and that make a lot of money and that are living certain lifestyles, and they want nothing more than to make life more difficult for them by giving them a baby. And men say things like, I'm gonna slow you down. You know what I'm saying? They're saying the quiet part out loud when they say stuff like that. You want to slow me down? So they already know what babies do to women by saying something like that. So you already know, if I have a child, my life is going to be more difficult. I'm not going to be able to climb the corporate ladder or make as much money or achieve as many things. That's why they say that. I want to slow you down because they know that you're going to be assuming more responsibility, that you cannot focus on these things that you're able to focus on. And this is the reason why a lot of these men resent single mothers. They can't stand single mothers. And the reason being is because men are jealous of the fact that women can do exactly what the men are doing and fucking raise a child. because they'll never be able to do that. These men that are single fathers, I don't give single fathers credit at all, because every single father, they listen, talk to enough single fathers, they get married quick. Single fathers get married very, very quick, because they're not trying to find someone because they love them. They're trying to find somebody to help them take care of that child, because they don't want to they don't want to take care of the child and have to focus on a job. And they don't want to give up their hobbies and give up other things that they really enjoy doing to replace the time that it would take for them raising their child. They're highly resentful and jealous of single mothers, because they're like, damn, how are they able to do all that? You think these men don't see? You think these men don't see single moms making it happen for their children and making it happen for themselves? You think these men don't look at single mothers and think, damn, how is she able to do all of that? How is she able to accomplish all of that? I could barely get up and wash my ass. I mean, these men are complaining about having to see their children 4 days out of the goddamn month. They get pissed off about the fact that they have to see their child every other weekend, and the fact that they have to spend money on their child every other weekend. And there's a single mom over here doing it 7 days a fucking week. And if it's a custody type of thing, then she's still taking care of the child the 5 days a week, every other week. Like, you think these men don't notice that and think like, wow, like, how is she able to do all of that? No, they see what's going on. They're using a measuring stick and comparing how you're able to do all that, because they know that they wouldn't be able to do it. The men can't stand single women, because single mothers are a further reminder of the fact that men are not needed. This is the reason why they claim that they can't stand single mothers. They love to give that excuse. Oh, I'm not going to raise another woman's child, and I'm not going to be responsible for another woman's child. Y'all don't take care of y'all children that are yours. You all don't assume responsibility for the children that are yours. So all of a sudden, when it comes to a child that's not biologically yours, you're proclaiming that you don't want to take care of a child that's not yours. You're not even setting the standard of taking care of your own children. So what argument are you really trying to make? No, it's low-hanging fruit for them to avoid the fact that the single moms don't need you. They're over here trying to talk about I quit. You've been fired already, sir. As a matter of fact, you were never hired. You were never hired. These single moms ain't checking for y'all. Y'all not even taking care of your own biological child. And they're over here talking about these single moms. They're out here looking for a man to take care of their children. Oh, hell no. Any single person that is living in real life and knows what's happening in real life, these mothers, the pick-me mothers especially, they're over here neglecting their child to have a man. These women are not over here sitting here being like, oh, here's my child. I need someone to take care of my child. These women are over here neglecting their child to have a man. It's the complete opposite. And the reason being is because it's projection, because that's what men are doing. Men are over here when they have a child and they have to assume full responsibility as a single father. They're the ones out here hunting, looking for a partner to help them take care of a child. Very rarely are you going to find a woman out here that's like, I need to find a man to help take care of my child. No. Those women are neglectful as hell when a man comes into the picture, when it comes to their children. Yeah, single mothers show how it's not important having a man. You can still survive being single, taking care of your child, and men hate that. They want to feel useful. Yes. This is why they get so mad about the government. This is why they get so mad that the government allocates money to low income people, primarily women that have children, because of course their income is going to be low if they're a single mother. They're not going to be able to work regular hours. And they even do that on purpose. I mean, just one very small system that I noticed like very early on when it comes to children. The main schedule across the United States is 9 to 5. But the main school schedule is like what, 7 to 3. So they don't even, they purposely create a system where you would have to leave your job, or you would have to orchestrate something or find a job in which you would be able to pick your children up from daycare or from school, et cetera, et cetera. They do that on purpose because it's a small way for you to lose money. It's a small way for you to come off as being unreliable because the system is set up that way. Honestly, it's a system that's ran that way. They want us to need them while they're not dependable to begin with. Exactly. That's why I'm like, need you for what? You're not doing anything. And it's because they much rather have women with nothing, so that way someone will be forced to deal with them, so that way they can have some control and some power because they can't have it in their everyday life. They're having to go to work and take orders from another man. They're having to go and inhabit a society that you're just another man. You're not special. You're another average man getting overlooked like all of the other men. And they hate the fact that they don't have any control or power. So the easiest ways for them to do that is for them to create their own ecosystem. When men say things like, someone wrote it in the chat earlier, but when men say things like, why do you want to go to work and listen to your boss? Why do you want to go to work and listen to your boss? It's a projection. They don't want to go to work and listen to their boss because in most cases their boss is another man. Men don't take too well to having to taking orders from another man. I think for a lot of them it's like a large complaint for them. They really, really don't like it. They really, really hate the fact that they got to listen to another person that's a man. They really, really don't. And so what they do is they try to convince women like, oh, you don't want to go to your work and have to listen to your boss and take orders from your boss. And the reason being is because they don't own a company. They're not the manager of anything. They're not the head of anything. But the easiest way for them to become the head of something is their household. This is why they call it head of household. This is the reason why they're called the breadwinner, because they can now artificially create an ecosystem where they are running things, where they are calling the shots, where they are being the boss, where they are being the king, and they can oversee everything and boss everybody around and tell everybody what to do and have everyone walking on eggshells and tiptoeing over how they're feeling to avoid getting yelled at or abused. They're not having you do those things because they want to make your life easier. No, they've just failed to display a sense of leadership in their own personal life, and so they want to be able to do it through marriage and through children. Because listen, at least with my boss I have a set schedule. At least my boss has to ask me, do I want to stay over at work or can I stay over at work? Right? At least with my boss, I can file an EEOC complaint and I can go sue. I don't have any protection like that when my husband is my boss. I don't get a clock out with my husband. I don't get to tell my husband, "Can I take a day off today? I don't feel like taking care of the children." I cannot call off sick of being a stay-at-home wife, a stay-at-home mom. I can't call into that. So when they try to sit here and say, "Oh, you don't want to listen to your boss, yada yada yada." Women overall don't have a problem taking orders from other people. Overall, women don't really have as much of an ego trip when someone is giving them directions like men do. Men get very, very angry over the fact that they cannot have control in the situation, and the reason being is because they're groomed at a very young age to put those things in high regard, such as like control, conquering, dominating. And I talk about, well, I haven't talked about it a lot on this channel. Maybe I should. A lot of this is through sports. I have a very, very strong theory especially with football. This control, this dominating, this gets done through the indoctrination of young boys through sports. I've never ever dealt with men that were very large sports fanatics, very large sports fans. They want to watch football all day on Sunday. They go crazy over the NFL. I feel as though there's a very strong tie to the indoctrination of sports and how men show up in society. Sports is nothing but a grooming tactic. Same thing with video games, nothing but a grooming and indoctrination tactic. Same thing with corn, nothing but a grooming and indoctrination tactic. These men don't like sleeping with women. Okay. Like, honestly, these men do not like sleeping with women. They do not enjoy having sex with women. This is why they're all DL. They rather sleep with a man. They're getting way more pleasure sleeping with a man than they're having with a woman. The reason why they choose to sleep with women is because they're watching corn, and corn is indoctrinating them to believe I'll have control over something. I'll have domination over something. And they say this in the language on how the corn is being, the titles of the corn, and how they reference sleeping with women, smash, what other words do they use? Destroy, damage. They're using all of these very, very brutal words to talk about them sleeping with another person, them sleeping with a woman. Those are all very destructive, dominating types of verbiage to use when you're sleeping with someone. Yeah, bang, crack. And I have another theory too. For the longest time, I would always ask myself, like, we're all grown over here. How do men take it? How do men take it when you say they're perfect, their size is perfect? Do men take that as a compliment? When you say that their Peter Whacker is perfect, or do they take it as like kind of an insult when you say that their appendage in between their legs is perfect? They do not like, they don't, this tells you the grooming and the indoctrination and how they've been trained. They get upset when you say perfect because they don't want you to enjoy sleeping with them. They're over here looking at these large, massive Peter Whackers hurt these girls. So perfect isn't good enough, because perfect means that you're actually enjoying it. It actually means like, oh, you're perfect. They're saying, oh, it's perfect. Well, then that means that it's not big. And then if it means that it's not big, it means that it's not destroying you or banging you or smashing you, destroying you, damaging you. That's the reason why they take it as an insult. And you will tell men this all of the time and tell them, like, dude, your size does not equate to the pleasure that the woman is receiving. And they don't want to believe it. And the reason why they don't want to believe it is because a lot of these men, they don't get off on the fact that you're gaining pleasure. This is why perfect is not good enough for them. They want to be called big, because the corn that they're watching is promoting big, because the big is what's going to be deemed as them conquering over you or having control over you. So whenever men are so I would always ask myself that. I'm like, why do they take such insult to being when they're being called perfect? That's the reason why. Because they're like, no, I'm not dominating over you. I'm not like hurting you and like harming you and making it this like type of thing where I have control over you. Like, that's the reason why they don't feel like they're conquering you when they're super small. And they'll swear up and down, oh my God, women don't like small and yada, yada, yada. Most of these men are out here with average peen sizes. No one's getting upset because you have an average peen size. There's no woman out here that's like, yep, he doesn't have 9 inches, I'm out of here. Like, no woman is saying that. Small, small is just simply less than average. They don't. They literally just want to seek this type of thing where it's like, no, I have to have control and I have to dominate over something because I'm taking in all of this media that is teaching me that I have to have control over something and that I have to lord over something. All of those things, sports, corn, video games, are highly detrimental to men. Highly detrimental to men. They're called bear bells. Bear bells. This is the caramel cashew. At Trader Joe's, they sell them in singles. I just got these from the grocery store. They sold them in a box at a grocery store, but they're expensive. I'm not even gonna lie to you. They're expensive. They're like $2 per bar. They're a little pricey. They are, but the macros are really good. They're 200 calories. They have 8 grams of fat, 18 grams of carbohydrate with 3 grams of fiber, and then they have 20 grams of protein in them. Caramel cashew is my favorite. It kind of reminds me of like 100 grand. I like 100 grand bars. Yes, catching a body. It's like catching a body. I know I carry firearms, but come on. How many bodies do you have? Like, I've never had a man ask me that, but if a man asked me how many bodies I had, I would troll the fuck out of him. How many bodies you got? The ones that I shot or the ones that I stabbed? Like, how do you want me to do this? Like, how do you want me to give you like what manner I did this in? Like, I would troll the fuck out of them because what do you mean asking how many bodies do you have? Like, what? That already lets you know that their brain, when it comes to sleeping with women, it's not in the same place. This is why I don't sleep with them. I don't sleep with them anymore. And the thing about it is that the men that actually do quote unquote take pleasure in like making sure, I am sorry, but at some point they throw that shit out the window. At some point they throw that shit out the window. You'll be with someone for 5 years and they will prioritize your pleasure for 5 years, and then out of nowhere they'll have this flip switch in their brain and they're like, I don't feel like doing all of that. I don't feel like doing that. I want to plow away for 2 minutes and get it done with. Like, honestly, I feel like all good behavior with men is on expired time. It's another way that they mask. It's another way that they mask. Deep down inside, they want to be able to bring out this nefarious nature regarding sleeping with women that they really have. And then when they get you pregnant, that's the icing on the cake of them conquering you. That's the reason why they say, oh yeah, like I conquered her. They feel as though impregnating women is the highest form of conquering. The highest form of any conquering is based off of how much you have to suffer. And that's disgusting. It's disgusting. Like, ugh, like just me telling y'all this, like, oh my God, like y'all should never want to sleep with a man ever again with all of the stuff that I'm telling y'all. You should be, I hope you're listening and I hope you're thinking, yuck, these men are disgusting. Their brain is rotted with so many nefarious and harmful ideology. Like, no. They ruin everything. They ruin everything they touch. He said, I'm a man who is helping decline the birth rate. And another thing too, ladies, for me personally, a really good, easy test for you to see how men truly feel about pregnancy is to bring up vasectomies. Don't just say, well, what do you think about getting a vasectomy? No, bring the conversation up in passing. Be like, yeah, this guy that I know, he just got a vasectomy. Him and his wife decided that they don't want to have any more children. And so he decided to get a vasectomy. See how he responds. If he responds like he got a vasectomy, I can't believe he got a vasectomy, you should not be having a child with that man. Okay, a vasectomy is reversible. It has a lot less side effects in things that can go wrong as opposed to pregnancy. Um, yeah, and it's like an outpatient procedure. Like they don't even have to stay in the hospital. They literally just go on ahead and have the vas deferens blocked, and then they're able to go home the exact same day. If a man is talking about, oh, vasectomy, yada yada yada, no. And a vasectomy is way easier for a woman to be going on birth control, for a woman to be getting the IUD, for a woman to be doing all of those things. It's way easier for a man to get a vasectomy. She said, "My shop has been closed for 21 years. Best decision I ever made in life." Girl, I just know you're glowing. I know you're glowing. Celibacy is good for me. I think more clearly. Yeah, I'm my best when I'm celibate. She said he will lie. That's why you have to bring it up in passing. You can't ask him what he thinks about a vasectomy. You just have to get him comfortable talking and then just randomly bring up a vasectomy and have him be a few drinks in. That way his subconscious, he won't have any control over what comes out subconsciously. Some men can't figure out how to sweep a floor or do dishes. How are they gonna fix the birth rate, child? By making women have to stay in the freaking home, and they're doing all of this marital graping. I know a guy that poked holes in the protection and told me about it like it was funny. I made note to steer clear for him. Yeah, these men they'll go and do all the roadblocks possible to make sure that they can make something happen. This is why they're not to be trusted. Yeah, my doctor, who is a man, told me himself that it was better for my son's father to get a vasectomy than for me to get birth control. Yeah. As someone that works in OB-GYN, I love the fact that women have the option to go on birth control. But for me personally, I do not believe that it is fair that women constantly have to be the ones to put their body at harm when it is way more detrimental for us to take birth control than for a man to get a vasectomy. I feel the same thing about PrEP. I know some people don't agree with me in regards to PrEP, but if women keep taking responsibility for the irresponsibilities for men, before y'all know it, y'all are gonna have to take fucking 15 pills every day. Oh, this is my pill for birth control. This is my pill for HIV. This is my pill for ureaplasma. This is my pill for chlamydia. Before y'all know it, y'all are gonna have to be taking 10 fucking pills because you refuse to just not deal with these men, or not because that's the way that these men assume responsibility, by you not dealing with them. Like, I am sorry, I don't want to sleep with a man that bad that I want to go on all of these damn things that are going to change my hormones and give me side effects. Like, as someone that works in the medical field, that stuff that you're putting in your body, it's going to cause side effects. And the man is still going to keep doing what it is that he's doing. And meanwhile, PrEP only fucking prevents one type of STD. Only one type of STD. What about all the other ones? What about the chlamydia that just goes untreated, and then you have pelvic inflammatory disease, and then you can't get pregnant at all if you want to because your tubes are all scarred up because it's went untreated for so long. It's insanity. Last guy stealth me, never again. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. And then it's like that's not. And the thing about it is that who wants to sleep with a man and he's hitting it from the back, and you're over here like, is he? You're over here. You can't even enjoy that. You can't even enjoy that. Got the condom on, and you're like, what? Like, is it holes in it? Is it holes in it? I've made men run the condom underwater because I don't trust their asses. I make them run it underwater to see if there's bubbles that form on the labeling to see if they poked holes in it or not. Because no, Who wants to sleep with a man and you have to constantly jump through all these hoops to make sure that you're dealing with someone that's not trying to fucking trap you? It's not even worth it. I got to the point where I'm like, I can't even enjoy myself. I can't even enjoy myself doing this because I'm constantly having to think in the back of my head, what is this man up to? I've asked 2 ex-boyfriends get vasectomy because I wasn't on birth control and I didn't want to be. They did, and one of them barely felt any pain. Exactly. It's a minimally invasive thing to do. If a man doesn't want to get a vasectomy, he doesn't deserve to have a child because he'll never be able to empathize. He's already proven that he cannot empathize with the severity of childbirth and birth control and things like that if he is not willing to get a vasectomy. Oh my God, I ended up at the Safe Center at Bellevue after Stealth, aka Grape, SVU, Kit, the whole night. I am so sorry that that happened to you. That's terrible. This is why women have to have a backup method of birth control at all times, girl. It's too much. It is. It's too much. I'm sorry. I don't love peeing enough for me to put myself in these predicaments. And at this point, it's going to be hard to come out. What are your thoughts on Pastor Jamal Bryant's wife's dress? Oh, so I looked at it quick. I did. I looked at it real quick. But okay, so I guess it's this pastor, this black pastor, and his wife was in like this really nice dress. It was like a black beaded dress, and like her body is tea. Very form fitting dress, and it had like the nude paneling behind it, and it had the black beading like going out. It looked real good. And so it was a lot of people that were like talking shit, saying that like it wasn't appropriate, she shouldn't be dressed like that. And essentially her pastor was like, I'm the one that fucking bought the dress and picked out the dress. Like I love the fact that she's dressed like that. um we need to see more, like we need to see more of that, honestly. We do. We need to see more of that. I want to see more men not being jealous over the fact that they have a baddie and they don't mind showing their baddie off. Like to me, you're gay. I'm sorry. If you're a man and you get a baddie and you want your baddie to be all covered up, you're gay. You're gay and you're insecure. Men want to compare women to cars. Okay, don't, if you have a nice car, you got a Maserati, don't you want to show your Maserati off? Are you going to cover up your Maserati and go driving and just cover it up? Are you going to switch out your Maserati logo and put a Mazda logo for Maserati? No. You're going to show every fucking body that you have a Maserati. So that literally makes no sense. Their own logic that they use makes no sense. Like as a man, you should be more than happy that the woman that you're dealing with is garnering enough attention that you can even have this many eyes on you. Like what? That's so weird to me. That's so weird to me. As soon as a man tries to make any comment on how I dress, especially when they met me dressed like that, oh no, you gotta go. You gotta go. And then this is what angers me so much. It's like this selective infantilization of women. It's very selective because when men watch corn, they don't want the woman fully covered up when they're watching corn. When they're looking on Instagram models, they don't want the Instagram models covered up. But you draw the line at the woman that you're dealing with day to day. Yeah, y'all, please don't argue back and forth with the trolls. Like, just ignore them. She said she's a first lady of the church, is the point. She signed up for that lifestyle when she married a pastor, but she has a life outside of being the first lady. Because my thing about it is this: you all will talk shit about a woman wearing a tight dress, but then you all have no problem with the pastor that cheats on his wife going back up to the congregation and still being a pastor. But you draw the line at a woman wearing a tight dress. Like, once again, it's selective outrage. It's selective outrage. The pastor can cheat. The pastor can impregnate another woman, and he is happily accepted in the pulpit. He happily is accepted as a pastor still. Technically, you're not supposed to do that as a pastor. It's selective. It's 1,000% selective. Her wearing a tight dress is not hurting her husband. That's who she's married to. And if you look at the way that the pastor fucking dresses all blinged out. That's a part of his value system. That's a part of who he is as a pastor. It's called branding. He's a very extravagant, flashy person. A part of his branding is having a wife that's extravagant and flashy. It's called branding. Not everyone's brand in the church has to be you covered up from head to fucking toe. He's the one that's the pastor. He can run his place however he wants to fucking run his place. Like, how are y'all going to sit here and tell somebody what they should and should be accepting? You're not the pastor. You're not married to her. Exactly. Like, he's the one that bought the dress. People are weird. Trust me, I've seen that pipeline. I've seen it in real time. I have. I've seen it in real time. It's once they become a pastor, it's just benevolent pimping at that point. They went from a malevolent pimp to a benevolent pimp. It's really that simple. Are you saying a gay man likes to see women covered up? Doesn't even make sense. Are you stupid? If a gay man would be a person that doesn't like women, the more naked you would be, it would further affirm the fact that you're a woman. So if you wanted to see somebody covered up, hiding the things that make them a woman, you're fucking gay. Men are the ones that dress covered up. If men are the ones that dress covered up, you like men. If you want women to cover up like men do. Men don't have special parts that they can show off without it being like indecent exposure. So yes, 1,000% you're gay if you're over here like, I want a woman covered up. You want a man. You want a man. And this is coming from someone that loves gay men. I do. I love gay men. Every time I go to a pole studio, I make friends with the gay men at the pole studio before I even make friends with the women. Like, as soon as it's a gay man, I'm like, yes. I love gay men. Like I said before, men are the only ones who men are cishet men are the only people that care about being considered gay. No one else cares. Women don't care about the fact that you're being gay or that you are gay. Women don't care. It's men that care. Because to me it's a fact. To me it's a fact. It's just a simple fact. You're adding emotion to the word gay. Gay is not a bad word. Gay is not a bad word. You're taking it, in my opinion, you're adding emotion to the word. It's nothing wrong with being gay, but in my opinion, In my opinion, if you want to actually be with a woman and you don't really want to see parts of her that would exemplify her being a woman, I think that you like men. I really think that you probably subconsciously are attracted to men. Because that's like telling a woman, that's like a woman saying, I don't want to see a man's muscles. Cover up. I don't want to see a man's muscles. Men are the ones that typically have more musculature than women do. So it would make no sense if a woman that would be straight would be like, you have muscles and I like muscles, but I want you to cover your muscles up. No, it's indicative of the fact that in most cases you're dealing with a man. Because muscle is typically it's a specific thing that men have a commonality with having. This is the most anti-intellectual reasoning I've ever had. No, it's just you can't keep up. You're too slow. You're too slow. You're used to hearing people give the same talking points. You're just used to hearing people giving the same talking points. She said they're straight until they get on Grindr. You said women use gay and sassy all the time as a slur to heterosexual men. And the thing about it is that it's because you're taking it as a slur. Like people call me a gold digger. Okay, I don't take that as an insult. I don't take that as an insult. You're attaching emotion to a word and you're the one choosing to give it power. You're the one choosing to give it power. Because weren't men were the ones saying no homo, no homo. Y'all are the ones that started making reference in regards to your heterosexuality. No homo, no homo. Y'all were the ones that started that, not women. The only thing I enjoy of dealing with men at job, at least some are muscular. Yeah, and it's so hard to find. It's like super, super rare to find someone. Yeah, it's 1,000% true. You had a ton of cishet men saying no homo, distancing themselves from what gay men are doing because they don't want to quote unquote be adjacent to what gay men are doing. Baby, I don't care if you get a manicure. I don't care if you get a pedicure. I don't care if you're wearing tight clothes or whatever it is that you want to do. I don't care. Yes, that stupid pause they do. Exactly. They're just upset that women are now going along with what it is that they've been doing forever and what they've been saying forever. No, no one cares. No one cares. Yeah, they don't, no one really says it anymore, but yeah, if they were to say something that would like kind of hint to the fact that they like liked men or that they were gay, then they would be like pause, like to reference from the fact that like I don't mean it in like a gay way or anything like that. Men are constantly distancing themselves from homosexuality. But just like all other insults, when men call women a slut, a whore, a gold digger, you're always going to have it be in reference to something that you know or that you believe the person has an emotion to. We know that straight men are afraid to be seen as gay. We know that it's a fear for most men. We know it's a fear for most men. So of course, like I said before, men can call women a slut, a whore, a 304, a gold digger, have a mile-long list for women, and then they get mad that they get sassy. They get mad that they're getting called sassy. Please. They are so stupid saying pause while eating a hot dog. Yes, because they're sexualizing everything. Who's thinking of a phallus while they're eating a hot dog? Who's thinking of a phallus while they're eating a banana? Like it's a fucking banana. It's a hot dog. Grow up. Like I said before, the cishet men are the ones that are creating this ideology and this shame around homosexuality where they feel so negative around it. It's not the women. You all create shame around homosexuality. Women know that. And so women are going to use that as a weak spot because you all do it to women. You can't see here and do this system where you're calling people names because you have it adjacent to something negative and then get mad when a group of people are going to do it to you and they're doing it on a way, way, way smaller scale. Like, no, too sensitive for no reason. At least the women are like, yeah, I am a gold digger. Yeah, I am a 304. Yeah, I am a whore. Yeah, I am a lady in the night. At least they're taking pride in it. If you have phallus on the brain, it's all you see. Yeah, it's weird. It's so weird. I'm like, dude, who's thinking of a dingling when they're eating a hot dog? It's the weirdest thing to me. I'm looking at a piece of food and you're looking at something completely different. That's weird to me. Like, that's like women eating a taco and being like, pause. Women are eating tacos and thinking of a pussy. Like, that's so weird to me. That's so weird to me. Women are eating a cinnamon bun and thinking of like a clitoris or something. Like, that's so weird to me. It's because they sexualize everything. She said, can they even eat popsicles? Can they even suck out of a straw? Yes, men's brain are fried with corn and gambling. 1000%. Because that to me, that's just crazy. To me, that's just crazy. When you have to go that far out of your way to constantly associate or disassociate yourself from the gay community, you're taking it way too seriously. It's not that serious. They care way too much. Exactly. We're not over here thinking a kitty cat while we're eating food. Oh my god, I'm looking at a flower and I'm thinking of a vagina when I'm looking at a flower. Like, no, there are so many things that nature creates that looks like reproductive systems. That's weird. That's weird to constantly have that state of mind to me. And I have a decent amount of gay men that follow me. I do have a decent amount of gay men that follow me. They not, like I said before, they understand what I'm saying. And to be honest, a lot of these gay men, honestly, a lot of these gay men, they straight up tell me, y'all men that are straight, y'all are DL. They be giving me the tea. They be knowing, they're like, oh yeah, like he acts like he's straight, but no, he's sassy. He's gay deep down inside. Come on. These gay men, they be looking for a little bit of sassiness in men because they be like, yes, I'm gonna convert him. I'm gonna convert him over into being DL. Like, ciao. I just personally, in my humble opinion, in my honest opinion, I think that there's like levels where it's just like men are just so attached to shame. Like shame, oh my gosh, shame just breaks their little heart. It really breaks their little heart. Any little thing, they just can't handle it. And it's like women have been getting shamed from the beginning of time. Grow up. Sassy and mannerisms tell the story. But these men, see, they get mad when you call them sassy. They get mad when you say, oh, he coming off a little sassy. He's coming off a little sweet. But they can sit here and say, you're not wifey type. You're a 304. You're for one night. They can sit here and pick up all of these quote unquote mannerisms that you have that portray you to be a whore or wifey type or someone that they're just going to sleep with. But they draw the line at if you're trying to clock if they're straight or not. Like the day that men quit shaming women, calling us gold diggers and 304s and having all these insults is going to be the day that women don't call men sassy. I worked with a whole group of straight men. These men, supposedly straight, these men were married. I went out with these men and they straight up told me that they were out on the west. I think they were in like Colorado. And they told me they went to a gay bar and they said they had the time of their lives. They said that the men were hitting on them. The men were offering to buy them drinks. They said they loved the fact that the men were buying them drinks. There was one guy, he even told me that a man had offered to pay him like $1,000 to sleep with him. And he told me, he said, if I wasn't married, I would have did it. He straight up told me, he was like, if I didn't have a wife, I 1000% would have slept with him for some money. Exactly. Men are too afraid to even compliment each other. Exactly. And got the nerve to say that being called sassy is a slur. Are you serious? Are you being for real right now? No, like grow up. Quit being so sensitive. Men say all the time they would rather be with their homeboys over their girlfriend. Yeah, you'll live with a man and he want to bring his boys over every night. Won't want to spend no time with his woman, but want to constantly be with the boys every night. Okay. Okay. What's the point of you living? What's the point of you living with a woman then? Y'all might as well should have never tied the knot and you could have invited everybody up to your place and y'all just could, separately do y'all thing and keep it that way. What was the point of y'all doing all of this? Exactly. That's why Grinder crashed when the Republican convention was being held. 1000%. I've always had a mindset like yours, but always went against myself because of society, and it makes me glad to find your channel. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad. I mean, having this mindset in the real world is definitely isolating. It's definitely isolating, but you get used to it because after a while, you realize you don't want to live being a shell of yourself. You don't want to have to bottle in the ideology that you have just to be able to keep the peace with other people. This is why I would love to see more women creating content in regards to decentering men, child-free content and things like that. I want to see more creators talk about it because the more people that hop on the train and become vocal about what their feelings are towards marriage, towards children, pregnancy, et cetera, the more it opens up the dialogue and the more it makes other women feel comfortable to understand that you'll have some pushback. I mean, of course, you'll have some pushback, but you're going to find your people and they're going to find you. And the peace you get as a single woman is unmatched. I'm telling you. Unfortunately, in my country, this is not accepted at all. Yeah, especially if you live in like an ultra religious country or a country that has like extremist patriarchy type of conditioning. Oh, there's no way. I just found out what a lavender marriage was. Oh, nice. Yeah, when a gay man marries a straight woman. Queen is helping women come out of the child-free closet. Yeah, and guess what? Another thing too is that when people ask you questions about this, you don't have to explain yourself. In 2026, I want women to be unapologetic about where they stand. Don't, if people ask you, well, why don't you want to have children? Because I don't want to have them. You don't owe these people any explanation. You don't owe these people any type of apology. You don't owe these people shit. Don't go back and forth with these people that are going to try to fearmonger you. Well, who's going to take care of you when you're older? A licensed medical professional. I was a young Republican back in the 80s. Almost every guy in our group ended up coming out of the closet in the 90s. I'm telling you, when you think about Republican and right wing ideology, when they talk about the women that they're attracted to, they want a little boy. They want someone thin, with no hips, with no breasts, a flat stomach, no body hair. They want a little boy. That's why when there's a high level of conservator, when we're when it's when we have conservative culture, it's wrapped around how fucking thin you could be because they want to be with a little boy. How can you like women and you don't want women to possess the unique things that make them women? That makes no sense to me. Men don't have breasts, women have breasts. Men don't have hips, women have hips. Men don't have a high amount of body fat. Women have a high amount of body fat. How can you sit here and say that you are attracted to women, but yet you want the woman to have the physical makeup of a little boy? You want a boy. This is the reason why in that country, I forgot the name of the country, they ban women from dealing with men, and then they have a ton of little boys dancing for them. They summon a whole ton of boys to dress like a woman, and they're dancing for men while simultaneously, what's the word? Shaming homosexuality. Men have so much cognitive dissonance, it's ridiculous. This is why they say, well, you're not making a good talking point. Of course, I'm not making a good talking point because you have cognitive dissonance. You don't understand where you begin, where patriarchy ends and where you begin, because your personality and your whole mindset is wrapped into patriarchy. Most of these men do not know where patriarchy ends and where their personality begins. They don't see where it intersects. People that are smart can tell how it intersects because it never matches. This is the reason why I'm like, women are going to sit here and make themselves sick. They're going to get autoimmune diseases. Their cortisol is going to shoot through the roof. They're going to gain a ton of weight. Their hair is going to thin. Women are going to stress themselves out so much, constantly trying to hit every goalpost that men create, because men do not know who they are and they don't have any they're not happy and proud. They don't want to display how it is that they really feel because they have to rely on the patriarchy to give them a sense of community. This is why I'm like, no, it's, to me, it's not that serious. These men aren't going to do enough soul searching to ever want to go that far to be like, oh, it's fine. I'll just be who I am. I'll just be free. This is the reason why they have such a hard time with, like, this is why they have such a hard time with people that don't fall in line. Like, they have a problem with marginalized groups of people. like the LGBTQIA, women that are child free, women that want to go against marriage because their whole entire personality is caught up into how well they can conform to rules. And they don't understand how people can live a life that is going to threaten their acceptance, but at least they get to live in their freedom. Emotional regulation problems do seem very common for men. Yeah, that's why they have to constantly outsource it to women. You're not going to find most men with an emotional problem run to another man to help them with their emotional problem. They're going to run to a woman, whether it be their mother, their sister, or their girlfriend. No man is going to another man for their emotional regulation because men don't know how to emotionally regulate. Yep, or alcohol or gambling or corn, all of the other vices that they obviously will be able to have access to. But the first place they're going to run to is a freaking woman. Hold on. I bought a half wig. I'm going to open it up. Let's see how it looks. I paid for it with my own money. It's not sponsored or anything. So I got like a kinky straight type of deal. So it's closer to my hair texture. It's actually right on par with my hair texture. And y'all know I really love OQ hair. So it's an OQ hair wig. I think this is a 24-inch. I don't know if it was the actual vendor of IC Hair because it said it on Amazon. I don't know. IC Hair, they used to harass me. They used to harass your girl. I had to block them away from my emails because they was harassing me to send me a wig. And I was like, no. I wanted the same type of wig like this, right? Same type of wig like this. And so I was being impatient. And so I ended up ordering a wig like that off of Amazon. And supposedly the seller was IC Hair. Bitch, someone had wore that hair before. I returned that hair the same day it was delivered. Someone had worn that hair. It was matted up. It was matted up. It wasn't in any netting at all. And there was something else that was weird. I returned that thing so fast. I'm like, how dare y'all? How dare y'all send me a wig that someone else fucking wore? Disgusting. But like I said before, I bought it from Amazon, and so it could have been like a fake. It could have been like a fake vendor, and not really IC Hair. But I returned that. I returned that expeditiously. Expeditiously. Why do you need wigs when your hair is already beautiful? Because I want to wear a wig. Like, what? Like, who cares? Like, why do men get a haircut? Why do men go shopping? Why do men get a lineup? Like, I don't understand. Like, I don't understand why men have such a weird thing with women displaying outward forms of expression. It's because men don't have the ability to. Under patriarchy, men have to be boring, bland, and men just have to. I mean, I would hate to be a man. I would hate to be a man. I have to wear the same type of clothes. I can't do anything unique with my hair. I can't change up my look. I can only wear just a couple different pairs of shoes. Like, men live a very boring, bland life when it comes to their expression. They just don't have the freedom to be able to express fashion and things like that like women do. So that's why men don't get it when they're like, well, why do women wear makeup and why do, because it's a form of expression. It's a cool form of expression. It's so much fun when you're just like, God, okay, I don't know why that did something weird, but I want to be blonde today. So men don't understand because men don't have that privilege. Like, men can't. Did it come back? It froze a little bit. Did it come? Yeah, okay, it came back. Men don't get that privilege. Men got to wake up and they got to be the same every day. And then if you're ugly, that's another thing. If you're ugly as a man, you're shamed by society to even want to change yourself. I mean, look at how Michael Jackson was ridiculed. Michael Jackson, he claimed he had vitiligo and he changed up his nose and he did all of this stuff too. And this is why women liked men like Prince. Prince was highly misogynistic, if you know, you know. But this is the reason why a lot of women liked Prince, because Prince knew how to physically embody the feminine. Michael Jackson knew how to embody the feminine. Like, Prince was wearing eyeliner. Prince was wearing eyeliner with a perm. And women loved Prince. And Prince was only like 5'4". He was super, super short. Cause yeah, Michael Jackson looked good. Prince looked good. Okay. Men are so jealous of women's fashion and glamour. Yes. They're very, because like I said before, I couldn't imagine waking up as a man and being like, this is my hair. And then if you don't have any hair, oh man, if you don't have any hair, and the thing about it is that as men, when you think about society and how they make fun of men getting things done, like Drake supposedly got a BBL and he didn't hear the end of it. He didn't hear the end of supposedly getting a BBL. So men are shamed out of enhancing their appearance. So if you're a man and you're born unattractive, you're stuck unattractive. Technically, you're not stuck because it's a choice. Just saying, it's a choice. But women have more value in their beauty. And so we get to have the privilege of doing things to enhance our beauty. And I kind of feel like men are jealous of that. Queen, didn't you say there's a correlation between evil men and bald men? If they're like early on, if it's like early onset baldness, like way, way, way too early. Men are shamed from anything feminine, but want a woman. Make that make sense. Exactly. It's cognitive dissonance. Like I said before, men subconsciously, they constantly have to fight what the patriarchy tells them what they want versus what they want themselves. Men are on their phone liking 304s. They're not liking no women covered up. They are not liking photos of women that are 1,000% covered up. And if they are covered up, these women are not wearing loose clothing. They're wearing very tight clothing. And so men will say, well, you could at least leave something to the imagination. Motherfucker, you're watching corn. You know what a naked body looks like. Don't use that shit with me. You're imagining anyway. You don't know what a naked body looks like when you're watching corn. I mean, they come up with all these excuses to try to shame women. They move the goalposts every split second. They really do. Like, come on. You're looking at naked women on corn and you're going to sit here and tell women you need to leave something to the imagination. Meanwhile, you're liking IG baddies with BBLs and wearing these tight freaking bikinis. You're not having to imagine anything. You're seeing it all the time. What are you talking about? Facts. Their wife at home all covered up. Meanwhile, they're out with a 304. Exactly. They got Susie Maker. They got Susie Maker at home who's covered up from head to toe, and then they're cheating on her with the 304, with breast implants, with a full face of makeup, with a 30-inch bust down. Prince was the only man that could wear heels and still take your woman. Yeah, because he knew how to mirror the feminine really, really well. He knew how to mirror the feminine so well. So when a lot of women would see Prince and they would deal with Prince, it was like it's like they were dating themselves. That's the reason why he made that song, If I Was Your Girlfriend. He's talking about mirroring the feminine. He's talking about being the feminine in a relationship. That's the reason why. And like the thing about it is that what men are doing now, I mean, we have men calling themselves male baddies. The reason why men making themselves adjacent to the feminine, the reason why it's not landing well with women currently is because women can understand that it's not coming from a place because men want to identify and mirror and actually empathize with the feminine. They want to do it in competition with the feminine. So this is the reason why with like male self-improvement on a physical level, it's not landing well with women because we know the intention behind it. You're doing it to compete with women. You're not doing it for women to actually embrace those parts of you because you yourself want those parts to be embraced. It's because you're in competition. So this is why a lot of men don't understand when they're like, well, I'm doing all of the things, I'm doing all of the feminine things. And it's like, we feel the energy behind that shit. We know that you're not doing it because you genuinely want to do it. You're doing it for some sinister ulterior motive. And it's not going to be at the benefit of a woman. It's like, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. Keep it normal. Okay, you can trim your nails at home. You could put on a clear coat at home. I don't need to be with my man talking about some yeah, my new nail girl named Lily. Yeah, I can put you on to Lily. Look at how she did my nails. Like clipping your toenails and making sure that your nails are short, that's enough. Okay, why are we trying to pretend like we need to be booking our nail appointments together? Okay, go on ahead and get your pedicure. That's fine. Have them get all that dead callous skin off the bottom of them feet. Perfectly fine. But I'm not going to sit here like no. We're not going to sit here. Next thing before you know it, they're going to be y'all are going to be side by side with a waist trainer on. Did y'all see the video of the woman that said that her boyfriend told her it was either her boyfriend or her husband? Y'all, he had the nerve to tell her, "You're out of face cream. He's been using her $80 Tatcha face cream. Tatcha is in the purple container and it's a small ass container. It's like $80 for like a 1 ounce bottle. It's an extremely small lotion. He had the nerve to tell her, yeah, you're out of face cream because he used it all. I be damned. I be damned. You want to go use some face cream? You better use some motherfucking Jergens or go buy your own Tatcha face cream. I'm not going in there using your shaving cream to shave my punani. Okay. I'm not over here using your Bajan to fill in my eyebrows. I'm not over here using your brush to brush my hair. I'm not using your 10-in-1 conditioner, shampoo, body wash, shaving cream to be putting it all over my body. So, no, absolutely not. This is why I don't advocate for women to be I want to put a face mask on him and I want to do the eye patches and no. No, 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 no. Because next thing you know, you're going to look in your drawer and you're going to be like, how come I don't have any more eye patches? Where are my little under eye patches? And you're going to be like, babe, where are my eye patches out? Oh, yeah. So those eye patches, I took a few and I've been wearing them on the way to work. That way I don't look so tired when I go to work. What? Like, I don't care. If you want to wear eye patches, do your thing. But why couldn't you go buy your own eye patches? Like, what? Like, they start noticing all the luxury. They start noticing all the self-care things that women enjoy because men don't understand the investment in self-care because under patriarchy, masculinity, you prove your masculinity based off of how bare bones you can be. So, well, I got one fork, one knife, one spoon. I got a recliner and that's my couch. I got a side table and that's my dining table and my living room table. That's how they'll be thinking. How bare bones can I be? You can be as bare bones as you want to be, but also simultaneously, my thing about it is this. These men act like them being, because they'll sit here and be like, well, women spend so much money. Women spend so much money. The money that you're not spending, what is reflecting as if you're saving all of this money? Where is this money that you're saving? Where is it going to? Because they love to say, oh yeah, all women do is consume and all women do is purchase products, which actually men have the highest amount of credit card debt. Women have the highest amount of student loan debt. Statistically, it is proven that women contribute the most financially to the household items because women are primarily the ones doing the grocery shopping. Most men are not offering up their money to say, hey, here's my card, use this to go grocery shopping. It's the woman that's going and using her money to pay for all the household products. So for all the like consumerism, like BS that these men try to spew to women to try to make it seem as if women are not smart or savvy with their money, it's nothing but a ton of BS. Nothing but a ton of BS because okay, you're bare bones, you're bare bones and you don't have anything to show for it. Well, what are you doing with the money, sir? What are you doing with the money? Oh, yeah, that's right. You're spending it on OnlyFans. You're spending it on alcohol. You're spending it on gambling, your FanDuels. So because you're not spending your money on $80 Tatcha face cream, you're all of a sudden better than women because you're spending your $80 on FanDuel when you miss every parlay. She said give him some St. Ives apricot scrub. Exactly. I just bought $300 worth of satin pajamas because I love and honor my sleep. I heard that. Tricking women into thinking they have something. Exactly. They're acting like living with one fork, spoon, and knife with a recliner is making them a millionaire. I'm not spending all that money on face cream and hair products and stuff like that. and yet you're not a millionaire. Interesting. You don't even have any investment. You don't even have an investment in the stock. You don't even have an investment in anything with housing or anything. You don't even have an investment. You're over here talking about, well, I don't spend all my money on that. Okay, you just spend your money on different shit. That doesn't appeal to women. That doesn't make you better. Girl, the TV be on the floor. The TV be on the floor. But they'll get a $50,000 loan on a sports car. Exactly. Or they go spend $10,000 on a fixer upper because they wanna do their hobby of fixing up cars, and then it just sits in the goddamn garage because they never fix it up. Like, how are you frugal and broke still? Where is your frugality getting you if you're not investing the money into anything? Your money is worthless if you aren't investing it in something. They invite you over and you go into the bedroom and you're over here thinking, you sit on the bed, you're sinking into the bed. You're like, how old is this mattress? My ex used his dog leash to hang a chandelier. I should have known then. Oh, hell no. Men being frugal is them being broke, pretty much. Dollar store skincare got better, I've heard. Tell them to use that. They have a lot of dupes at the dollar store now. Exactly. There is no moral way. Or you sit on his couch, you sitting on his couch, and you're like, whoa, you over here thinking you took a one-way ticket to hell with how far you had to sit down into the couch to be able to land on your booty. Queen, the time you mentioned the man with the peeling couch, I was so pissed off. I never went back to his house again. I never put my feet back in that place again. I was like, the couch is peeling. And he warned me beforehand. But of course, in my head, I'm like, I really won't know until I see it. And then I saw that peeling, and the couch was like yellow too. I was like, okay, maybe it was a good thing that the couch was peeling because I don't want to come into some place, man's place or anyone's place, and see a yellow couch. Like, aesthetically, that's an eyesore. Just keeping it real. But, child, I was like, "Come on. Come on." My brother was the only man to complete a project car and flip it. All his friends were into it, but never got the job done. Yeah. Shout out to your brother. Shout out to your brother for doing that because, yeah, most of the time, the project is never going to complete. They're never going to complete it. They're going to make up all types of excuses. And then, not to mention, if you get a fixer upper, you have to invest money into getting the parts. Like, my dad does it with cars all the time. He always is purchasing fixer uppers and like getting a new alternator, engine, et cetera, et cetera. Is that a spring poking through your matches? I'm hollering. All YouTube lives stay posted up. So it'll be on here once I am done. It'll be uploaded automatically. Did you hear Russia upping the tax on contraceptives and creating policies against child-free content? Ooh, they're getting desperate. They're getting desperate. I believe it. There's a tax on tampons because they want you pregnant. Get a menstrual cup, y'all. Get a menstrual cup. It's your own blood. Okay. If you don't, I mean, I get it if you're a little bit queasy with blood, but it's your own blood, y'all. But get a menstrual cup. Definitely a learning curve for the menstrual cups, definitely. But they're a lot safer for you, and you don't have to. I'm not in Florida right now, I'm in the Midwest. It feels good to be back in the Midwest. The energy in Florida was getting weird, I'm not even gonna lie. The energy there was getting weird, and it was just so annoying being, like, the only Black person. And it just was weird. It was just weird being, like, one of the few only Black people. It's nice to walk around and see some Black people. Honestly, the biggest issue with me with Florida was the men. The men. I couldn't go on a walk without people honking their car at me. I couldn't do anything without men approaching me. It was annoying. Like, I couldn't even enjoy Florida, like, the outside like I really wanted to because of the men. Like, I don't wanna walk along the beach when people are driving and people are honking their horns constantly. Like, I counted. I walked 7 minutes and I had 9 cars honk at me. Are menstrual cups good for heavy periods? They have different sizes. They have different sizes, so if you get the bigger size, you should be fine. Just as long as you have a bathroom nearby for you to be able to empty it out, like, kinda regularly, you should be fine. I hate that. It was worse for me in Southern Maryland, only Latina. Like, oh, like, I remember one time I was grocery shopping and this old white man was like, "Aren't you just the cutest thing?" I was just like, "Ugh." It's illegal to catcall in Costa Rica. I just might move back there. Damn, that's nice. Like, I wanna be able to just go outside and, like, not have people talk to me, especially not men. Like, that's what was getting annoying in Florida. I was just like, "Bruh, I can't even enjoy the sun and the beach and the outdoors because the men just won't stop talking to me." I barely wanted to leave my house. I didn't wanna go to the gym anymore out there, and, like, the gym that I go to out here, at least there's, like, a woman's only section, so I just go to that part of the gym. It's, um secure, so you have to use, like, your little code thing to be able to get in. We have, like, our women's only section, and so I work out there. I'm in the Midwest, and an 80-something-year-old white man got mad at me because I didn't wanna take his number, like, "Grandpa, roll on to checkout and leave me alone." Like, "Child." I would have been like, "Sir, you're only 1 kick away from a knee replacement. Don't play with me. You're only 1 push away from a hip replacement. Please tread lightly. One kick to the leg, you're 1 kick to the leg and you're out of here, sir." You gotta remind these dudes, especially when they're old like that, you gotta be reminding them, "Sir, it's not gonna take anything." And their skin be all thin too. Like, "Sir, all it takes is a pinch for me to draw blood from you. Do not start with me. Do not start with me, please." Like, these old men be forgetting that they're getting brittle. Why do men feel so entitled to harass women? Because they just don't fucking think. I always say when men see a woman that they're attracted to and they lose all the Peter Wacker blood supply, or the Peter Wacker blood supply leaves from their brain to their Peter Wacker, and so they went from having 5 brain cells to 2 brain cells, and so they just start blabbering off at the mouth. Like, but yeah, the men there in Florida, I couldn't go anywhere without them talking to me. I'm more invisible here. Thanks for everyone calling me adorable or cute or whatever y'all were calling me. Thank you. But I prefer to be at a place where when it comes to men, I'm invisible. Like, do not, even in New York City, I didn't have that many men talking to me as I did in Florida. And I was around way more people in New York City. Even in New York City, didn't nobody bother me. I had one encounter in New York City, and that was about it. But everybody else, I was invisible to the men in New York. Like, what am I and an 80-year-old man have to talk about, sir? You barely know you're alive, child. Like, at 80 years old, the only conversation that I have to have with a man that old is getting married and putting me in the will and making me the beneficiary. That's about it. We're not conversing about anything else. Why is this corpse talking to me? How did it get out of the grave? Exactly. They're so unaware of the age you're in. You said I love living here in New York City. I'm not gonna lie, I do miss New York City. I really, really do miss New York City. I've been thinking about living back in New York City pretty often. And yes, the gyms can be annoying in New York City. I lived in Crown Heights. I lived in Crown Heights, and although no one bothered me or really talked to me at the gym, it's just, oh my God, like, no, like, it just was too packed up in there. It was too packed up in there at the gym. And you wanna know what was crazy? So, I only had, like, one I think I only had one black guy talk to me. I only had one guy talk to me the whole time that I was in Florida, because for the most part in Florida, the black men do not talk to black women. Like, I saw pretty much every black man that I saw partnered up, they were partnered up with a white woman or a Latina. It was like the white and, like, European men, like, ugh. A white woman asked me if I was Spanish. I said, "No, I'm Mexican." She said, "You'd rather say you're Mexican than Spanish. It's so racist in Maryland, Virginia." That was ignorant as hell. Like, that is so weird. And also, I looked into my astrocartography, and, like, Florida actually is not a good place for me. It's not. When I look deep into my astrocartography, Florida is not a good location for me, especially because my Venus sign is there. My Venus sign is there. So, like, I'll get a lot of men that are attracted to me and, like, a lot of men that wanna try to talk to me. Was trying to plug Good Home Workouts website, won't let me. It's all good. NY Good for minding their business. Yeah, like, honestly, I always enjoy my time living in New York City, and I do miss it. I do miss it. I'm in the Midwest. I'm in the Midwest right now. It's kinda warm where I'm at, though. It is. It's kinda warm where I'm at. It's probably about 48 degrees right now. It's actually 60 degrees. Didn't you say you were back home a bit? Yeah, and I'm, like, in the vicinity, like, I'm kind of in the same area, but I'm not, like, home, home, but I'm still in the Midwest. I needed a break. I needed a break from Florida. I don't know if I'm gonna go back. I do have to go back. I do have to go back there soon because there's an event that I'm going to for pole dancing, so I do have to go back to Florida just to visit, but I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna go back. I'll go wherever the wind blows me. Oh, I do DRB workouts. I do a lot of DRB ab workouts. I'll never go any place rural. I'm a black woman. I know better. I have to go to like a major city. I've been trying to use my astrocartography chart to find another place to move to. You really have to have you really have to have an understanding of where you have to have an understanding of what goal you have for the place that you want to relocate to with your astrocartography, because you have so many different lines and so many different planets. And so you'll have to kind of have like a clear intention on what it is that you're looking for. Like, are you focused on your career, wealth, and prosperity? Are you focused on family values? Are you focused on your roots? Are you focused on love and relationships? You have to have an idea in mind on what it, or your spirituality, your religion. You have to have a clear intention on what you're looking for with your location. Because some people's charts might be real specific. And then some people's charts may have a lot of lines in one certain type of area. So, like here in the United States, I haven't given the West Coast a chance in a long time. I lived in Arizona back in 2022, and that's as far as I've went when it comes to the West Coast. Honestly, I kind of do want to see what the West Coast is talking about. I actually have a lot of lines in the West Coast here in the United States. And I do have a lot of like I do have a lot of lines that would benefit me. So I don't know, maybe California or maybe Seattle, Washington. I don't know. I'm thinking. Also, I prefer to invest into myself, my hobbies, etc. Your take on buying property. I kind of feel like this. So my father, he owns so much money in real estate. It's not e it's ridiculous, and he has a whole team of contractors. So back in my hometown, I actually have somebody who I could just find a property and I could just pay the money, pay for all the repairs, and all the contracting and stuff would be done for me. But me personally, it's not something that I am going to do, particularly because of the same reasons as you. I don't want to be tied down to a place, and I have trust issues, okay? Even if I get a project manager or I get somebody to oversee the property, because like as long as you don't do like a first time home buying loan or whatever, you can use that property, an investment property, to just like you could rent it out if you want to. So that way you can at least have your rent covered. However, I have trust issues. And so I don't really trust a person to oversee those things while I'm gone. And like my family is just too busy. And you also have to realize too, there are other investments that you can make outside of the housing market. Like the stock market, that's still making an investment. That's still a way for investments. You could do high yield savings account. And those are all things that you could just buy and hold and let the money grow. And you don't really have to worry about dealing with the investment properties and stuff like that. I just move whenever I want to, but I don't pack a lot of stuff with me. I used to. I guess the one thing that I do embrace about traveling is that like it really made me look at my over consumerism, and it made me really face my over consumerism, because there's ads everywhere. Like these ads are getting fucking out of control. These ads are nonstop. They're constantly trying to push and shove shit into your face that you don't need in order for you to purchase it. So before I left Florida, I did like a very large purge. I did a very large purge. And so now I really do realize that like I don't need as many things that I got. Like you, you just have to face a lot of harsh realities. Like I don't like going out. I do not like going out. I like going to the gym. I like going to work. I like going to pole dancing classes. So therefore, most of the clothes that I bought are all workout clothes and scrubs. I brought like 2 or 3 cool tops and then some jeans, and like I brought like some boots, but like I didn't bring a ton of like clothes to go out in, because I just had to accept the fact I don't go out nowhere. So I left all of those going out clothes. I left them in storage. Now, if I was in a place like New York where I would actively be going out and like you actually have the vibe with like dressing up and stuff like that, it might be a little bit different. My wardrobe might look a little bit different, but otherwise I don't go do anything. So there's no need for me to bring like a whole wardrobe. Yes, I have trust issues too. Owning property is like having a child in the end. Yeah. So that's what I kind of feel like. I feel like your sanity, your peace and your sanity is priceless. So no matter how much money you would make off of an investment property, you would have to ask yourself, is it worth your sanity? And then also depending on where you would have the investments at, I mean, you have to think of like the weather, and things like that, things that go wrong. Are you okay coming out, a few hundred to $1,000 for a repair? People damaging property and stuff like that. Me personally, I don't want to deal with that. And also I don't want to be so overbearing that it would ruin the living experience for another person. Because the thing about it is that, so I actually had someone that rented out her place to me. This was when I was in Texas. And so she had a 3-bedroom place. And it was just me and one other girl that had lived there. And we were on opposite shifts, so barely seen her. But she would have men like come in and out of the place to like work on things. And then I was pissed because like she didn't have a big refrigerator. She just had a mini refrigerator. And I was in bodybuilding prep. And so it was such a hassle for me to like cook, fit everything. Like I couldn't use Tupperware. I had to put everything in plastic bags. And so she was like, well, the reason why I did that was because I don't want it to be like an argument and I want everybody to have their own stuff and stuff like that. Okay, but get a big refrigerator and get a mini fridge. Like any of the stuff that like you want to have be shared or stuff like that. I mean, like you could at least have the big refrigerator, but because she wasn't in Texas and she worked out of California, she was so overbearing with like what was going on in the place constantly. And the reason being was because she was not there. And then she had an issue with the guy next door that used to do the repairs. And I guess like she fired him. And I didn't like living there because I'm like, I want to live someplace where I don't have somebody constantly overseeing over everything because they don't feel comfortable. Like, I just kind of feel like if you're not going to feel comfortable, there's no purpose in you doing it. Like, if you don't have the trust to be able to do it, it's no point in doing that because she was annoying. She was annoying as fuck. Like one time I was on call and I was making food. And so I didn't get a chance to finish cooking the food because I was on call. The exam was quick. The hospital was 7 minutes away. I was going to be coming right back. I covered up the food, left it on the stove, cut the stove off. 45 minutes later, I'm back at the place and I get a text message from the woman who rented out to me. And she was like, I just want to bring it to your attention that it was noticed that you left food out on the stove, and that's not acceptable. And I'm like, bruh, you have one of your repairmen up in here and he's reporting back to you that I have food that's left on the stove. I'm on fucking call. I cannot sit here and wait for my food to cook all the way, put it in a Tupperware, put it in the refrigerator, and then go to respond. Like, no, like, fuck you. Like, I'm coming right back to the fucking property within like 45 minutes. Like, a mouse is not going to come in here. A mouse is not going to be coming up in here within 45 minutes of me cooking food. Like, that shit had pissed me off. I was like, oh, hell no. She is tripping. She is motherfucking tripping. Exactly. And then you have to deal with men and pay them to help you. Exactly. I'm a grown woman, like lady, chill. Exactly. And the reason why she was like freaking out or whatever was because It was, um it was in the winter, and so it got super, super, super cold, and so there was, like, one mouse that, like, ended up getting into the place, and they trapped up everything, and they got rid of the mouse or whatever, and so she was, like, freaking out, but it was like, "Okay, we had one mouse in here, and, we're in, like, the springtime now. We had one mouse that whole entire time during the winter. No mouse is gonna come in here during the fucking spring, and the food is it's there for 45 minutes. I'm on call." Well, she should have did better with pest control. That's her fault. Exactly. And in my head, I'm like, this is also kind of what you get when you're putting a mini fridge in everybody's goddamn room. Like, just get one main refrigerator like everybody else. Like, if you want to have a mini fridge in everyone's place, okay, cool. But in my opinion, it's like your pest problem is when you have more areas where there's food split up separate, like that's going to kind of make your pest problem, it's going to make it a little bit worse. Because I asked her, I was like, why don't you have a main refrigerator in here? And she was like, I don't want the roommates and I don't want you all to like fight over food and like have food be like an issue or whatever. And I'm just like, that's fucking stupid, but whatever. Right, all in my business. I'm like, "Girl, I'm on call. I got lives to save. I don't have time to be preparing this food." Was this your roommate or the landlord? It couldn't have been the roommate because that was another thing too. This was another thing. So the woman had no pantry. No pantry, no refrigerator. So my roommate, all of her non-perishables, she had to put it on half of the side of her table. So like her bread, her pasta, all the non-perishables had she put it all on the half side of her table because this woman didn't have a pantry either. So it was no choice but for there to be food left out. And this woman was Filipino. So there would be like food that she would make and she would leave like a bowl out on the table and she would have it covered up with like a paper towel. She would have like a cover, she had like it covered up with a paper towel. And that Filipino girl had been living there before me. So in my head, I'm like, this you don't have a pantry to have anything covered and then this girl is having like food out too that's covered up with something like us having a pest problem is 1000% reflective of the fact that you don't have any place for the food to be covered. You don't have any place for us to put the fucking food. It made no sense. It literally made no sense at all. I'm like, get a fucking pantry and get a refrigerator like a regular house does, or get enough cabinet space so that way we can store our food properly. Because I couldn't really get any crazy amount of non-perishables because there was not enough space in that kitchen. She was tripping hard. She was tripping hard as hell. I was like, oh child, oh no. You done lost your mind. That's all that I was thinking. I was like, you done lost your mind. That was the worst. Was it the worst? The lady that I rented out from in New York City, she was annoying. She lived above me and it was her child, and her child would make so much fucking noise. And I'm like, your child is fucking loud. Like, I get it. I get it. We're in a shared space, but your child is fucking loud. And before you rent out your bottom unit to people, you should be telling people that you're living above and you do have a child. Like, I kind of feel as though you should have told somebody fucking that. So that was annoying. That was very, very annoying. I didn't get along with that woman, but all of my other experiences were fine. And I've rented out to a lot of places, but I've never had like a legit horror story. Like my ex friend, she lived in a place and the place had roaches. Like the place had bugs. It was gross. My book will come out when my writing skills are better. That's why I created a Substack so I can activate and work out my writing bone because it's been inactive for too long. Way too long. Because I need to make sure my writing I need to make sure my writing is I would love to write something. Did you take writing classes? I didn't take any writing classes. I mean, there's like basis of writing, right? You have like your introduction and then you have your body and then you have your conclusion, right? Um I just think like with anything, whether you're singing, writing, poetry, it needs to be relatable and like it would have to evoke like some type of emotion. And also I feel like if you're trying to get into writing, you need to be reading. So like I picked back up reading again because reading books is going to help you a lot with writing. It's very, in my opinion, it's very hard to write when you're not getting stimulation through reading books. Ooh, I had a roommate who had the hive and she was sleeping with random men she would meet on the internet. I had to get out of there because that could have been a really dangerous situation for me. Oh my God. That's terrible. I wonder if she was disclosing that to them or not. Because I hear stories about the women disclosing it and the men still sleep with them. They're like, I don't care, which is crazy to me. And then they say dumb stuff. I don't care. I'll put on 2 condoms. What? So that you can cause all that friction and the condoms can pop? What? These men have no common sense. Yes, room flatmates are a waste of time. You can only do that with really, really good friends that are clean, great person, you organized. No flatmates, no cohabitants, no man. Yeah, I live alone. I live alone. I had 2 so my whole time traveling, I had 3 roommates total. I had 1 roommate in Arizona. No, I did have 1 roommate in Arizona. I only lived with him for a month. He was cool. He was a resident at the hospital that we both worked at. He was there for a month. He was cool. I barely saw him. Then I had a roommate in Milwaukee. She was cool. She was cool until she wasn't. It was weird. Um, and then I had the roommate when I was in Texas. And she was cool, but she was rude. Like I kind of feel like if you have a roommate, you need to let your roommate know when you have company. So I would get to my place and then there was just some fucking man there. Like, what if I came out in a towel? What if I was out in a towel or something? And it was her boyfriend. It was her little white boyfriend. And I'm just like, girl, you live with another person. The least you could do is tell somebody that you're having inviting them. Oh, and then I had 2 roommates when I was in Boston. But we were in a penthouse, so we were spaced out so far away from each other, and they actually did tell me that someone was coming, and one oh my god, one of the girls, it was during the holiday season, one of the girls I lived with, her friends came over, and one of the friends had a daughter, and I had my door closed. Why her little daughter opened up the door? She opened up the door to my bedroom. I'm like, I looked at her like she was fucking crazy. Like, what if I was getting it popping? What if I was getting it popping on my bed and you just opening up the door, badass kids? I'm like, oh, child, these kids are fucking bad. Like, why don't you why are you just opening up a door and you don't even know what's behind it? I could have traumatized you behind this door. Yeah, I like my solitude. I've been stuck in Boston. How did you feel about it? I fucking hated Boston. So I technically didn't live in Boston. I lived in a suburb outside of Boston. The suburb that I lived in was super cool. Landlord was super cool, had this like big fat penthouse. He was super, super cool. He let me live there for a whole month free. He only wanted utilities and I got to set my own price on how much I gave him. But Boston, fuck that place. They think you're getting hurt before behind that door if they hear it, child. I did not like Boston, and Boston did not like me. Boston, you wouldn't think, but Boston really is racist. I'm like, dude, this is crazy. This is crazy that Boston is so racist. But then it makes sense because I'm like, it's an elitist ass city because they got Harvard and they got all those Ivy League universities there. So automatically, them being elite, like them having that sense of elitism, it automatically makes them racist. I feel when I have people around me, I just waste my time away with fun and excitement. Only when I'm by myself, I can focus, get shit, projects, work, business done. I can't function properly with people around me. Hallelujah. I'm the same way. I'm the same way. I have to be in hermit phase. I have to be in hermit phase because, like, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't like spending money, like going out. It's a deterrence to me. If I was a bald man, oh gosh, I think I would make flower crowns and wear them in rotation. That's awesome. But y'all, I'm gonna get off of here. I am. I'm gonna get off of here. I gotta think about what I want to talk about tomorrow because I genuinely don't know what I want to talk about tomorrow. But I'll figure it out. But don't forget to like and subscribe. And yeah, I will talk to y'all tomorrow on my birthday. We'll do a birthday live stream. Maybe I'll do a live stream about like not being fearful of like getting older. Like not being fearful of turning 30 since I'll be turning 33. Maybe that's what I'll talk about tomorrow. I think that's what I'll talk about tomorrow. Just not being afraid to turn 30. The red pillars done got these women terrified of turning 30 because they think that their eggs are finna scramble and they're about to expire like milk once they turn 30. So maybe I'll talk about that tomorrow. But yeah, I will see y'all tomorrow. Love y'all. Bye.